Are you open to constructive criticism? At times, we may not want to hear what a person is saying because we may not like that person, right? Or we may not respect that person. We may look at this person as, who are you to be giving me advice? And yes, this video may be contradictory because in one of my past videos, I said, not to listen to everybody. Now, this is the thing. We're all adults, right? You should be able to get a lot of information and decipher what applies to you, what will be good for your well-being, what is actually true. Because without constructive criticism, it is impossible to improve. Yes, you can get constructive criticism from yourself. You can do self-evaluation, which is also important. But being able to see how others perceive you, it will propel you in different aspects of your life, in fitness, in health, in wealth, in relationships, with family. I spoke about in my previous videos how I was a fast talker. A lot of people would tell me, Yaya, you're talking too fast. I don't understand anything you're saying. Please slow down. I would have clients at work say, wait a minute, what did you say? Or, okay, they found me helpful, but at times I would talk too fast. Even with my own mother, I was just on the phone with her the other day, and she was like, I didn't understand nothing you said, and it took me years to understand if everyone's saying it, maybe it does have some truth to it, If your doctor is telling you you need to lose weight, if your spouse is hinting at you need to lose weight, if your mother is hinting at, if you have like 5-10 people, even people you don't like, sometimes they say your haters can be your motivators. And I believe that has truth in it, because sometimes your haters have the capability and audacity to tell you things about yourself that people who love you or care about you would be too afraid to tell you, because they're sparing your feelings. They don't want to hurt your feelings. The thing about it is, in order to change, sometimes your feelings will get hurt, and that's okay. Would you rather have someone be honest with you or lie to you? Just imagine if you were starting a boutique business, and you're going to your family, your friends, different people, strangers, and you're getting feedback on certain clothing pieces. If you had an ugly shirt, your friend or your family, they may dress it up and say, well, I see it. That's interesting. That's a unique piece, but it's not for me. But someone off the street might tell you, that crap is ugly. You need to get rid of it. Sometimes I feel like you need that. It took, and it's still taking me a long time to understand how important constructive criticism is. Being able to take constructive criticism, especially when you're dieting, especially when you're trying to, lift weights, or you want to do cardio, or just anything you want to do health, fitness wise, is important. It can actually save you harm. For me, I was exercising at a park outside, and I used to be jogging on the pavement, and sometimes I would do sprints on the hill up the grass. And I would always do this. I would have my routine, and I would do this for weeks, And one day, this random stranger that I don't know, he walked up to me and he was just like, hey, you need to stop jogging on the pavement. It's not good for your knees. It's not good for your joints. You can really ruin your cartilage. I think in your knee, that's what he said. Something of that sort. This is a complete stranger, he's in regular kind of like bummy clothes. I'm like, okay, like, sure. At the time, I'm more open. This is a stage where I'm more healed and I'm not so offensive as I would have been 10 years ago. Keep in mind, I'm 32. So the younger me would have been like, mind your business. Like, I've been doing this, like, I'm good. The more wise me is like, maybe I should listen, maybe I should do some research and look in to see if what he's saying has any truth. Come to find out, that same man, he was a professional runner. He actually trained with Mike Tyson. And he also informed me later on, like while I was working out, he was like, you shouldn't jump rope on concrete because it's not good for your knees. You should always try to do that on the mat. He was like, real runners, they train on grass. They don't run on concrete. And he was saying like, Mike Tyson used to jump rope in the street, and that was to build his endurance. But he was saying the older he got, he couldn't do that anymore because his body was messed up from him jumping on concrete. So imagine if I would have never took heed to what he was saying, later on in life, even though I might not feel it now, I could really do some damage. And on top of that, I do feel the difference when I do run on concrete or even walk. Like, I remember one time I walked to my gym, like, just to get some fresh air, and it was a pretty long walk. The next day I was sore, but I was in a different sore than if I would have ran on a treadmill. It was like I could feel it more in my knees from walking on that concrete. So taking that advice from a complete stranger, I didn't just listen to what he said. I heard it, I processed it, I did my own research, and I applied it. I'm not saying to listen to what everyone says blindly, but we are adults. You have to be able to use your discernment on what is for you and what isn't. Another example, which you may not like, but it may help you. If you've ever gotten into an argument with a spouse or a friend and they say some things out of anger, and they're just like, they may apologize for it in the future or may not, and it may have some truth to it. Like before, when I would get into arguments with people, sometimes they would be like, you crazy, and it's just like, people nowadays, they love to use the word narcissist. They love to say people are gaslighting them. And I'm not saying they're not. But if someone is calling you crazy every time you get in an argument or something, I think you really should sit back and analyze your behavior. Like, are you doing stuff that is crazy? Because when I looked at my behavior patterns, the stuff I was doing was crazy. 1 minute wanting to deal with the person, the next minute not. 1 minute saying I love you, I care about you, the next minute saying you a stupid MF. It's like, that is crazy. That's not gaslighting. Although he may have worded it, he could have worded it in a more gentle, blanketed term that was, more loving and caring. What he said was true. I was acting crazy. That's the beautiful thing about life, is that you can change. Now, I'm not saying you should deal with the person or stay with the person that talks to you in a demeaning way and try to change to please them. No, everything I'm talking about is for self-empowerment, self-development, so you can be a better you, so you can attract better things of that sort. Sometimes it's hard to hear the truth, especially when you're upset, or when you're not really feeling that person at the time, or you don't respect them, or you feel like, who is this person to be telling me this? Things of that sort, it's hard to swallow. But in the end, you will be a better you, especially with your health and fitness. If there's a professional person trying to give you advice or give you feedback on what you're doing, listen to them. Don't just automatically shun them or ignore them. I was at the gym a couple years ago, and I remember a personal trainer, she had told me, like, I was on the it was a weight machine, like the kind where you do like your arms like this, and I don't even do that one right now, but anyways, when I was doing it, she was like, when you're doing that, make sure that you're contracting your stomach muscles. And I had never done that, and it made all the difference in the world when I was working out. And also, like, my posture, sometimes I would slouch, and she was saying that. Now, imagine if I would have never listened to her. The whole time I'm doing the exercises, I would have not been reaping the benefit. I would have still been, getting some progress done. But just those little small tweaks, it helped me along my journey. Even when it comes to, running and jogging. About a couple years ago, I was at the gym, and I used to go with somebody I worked with. And he was telling me, like, every time you jog, he was like, why do you lean over? And I was like, because I'm out of breath. He was like, that's silly, because when you lean over like this, when you lean all the way over, when you're running and you're tired, it's the worst thing you can do because you're actually cutting off your airflow. So if you're out of breath, you actually want to, keep standing up and lift your arm up. Preferably, I like to lift this one up. I don't know why. But when I lift this one up straight, like lift my arm up like this, or like straight all the way in the air, then it gives me more air. And I like slow down my breathing. And then I feel like I caught my breath. And it doesn't, like sometimes when you're not breathing properly, your side can hurt. But I learned that from a man that's younger than me. And at the time, he wasn't as, in like perfect shape. He wasn't a trainer, but he was just giving me a tip. So being open to constructive criticism on your weight loss fitness journey is the best thing you can do. Learning how to take feedback without feeling offensive. Just because someone is telling you something doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because someone's telling you something doesn't mean that they're trying to attack you. Sometimes people are telling you something because they want to help you. They want to see you do better. But I also think that defensiveness is attached to that self-esteem, because if you're so offensive about everything someone has to say, it's kind of like you're already on guard before they even say what they're able to. And when you do that, you really do limit yourself. You limit your growth potential mentally, physically, and spiritually. You have to have an open mind if you want to change. You have to realize, if I want to be different than what I've been, I have to do what I've never done. If I have to do what I've never done, I have to learn what I don't know. And how do you expect to do that without having an open mind and an open heart? You have to be open to books. You have to be open to videos. You have to be open to people who've done what you're trying to do. You don't have to do it exactly like them, but being open is going to fill you with the knowledge you need. It's going to fill you with the motivation and inspiration to stay on your weight loss fitness journey. So next time someone is giving you constructive criticism, do not get irate and belligerent or crazy with them. Just take a deep breath and remember, this is for your betterment. And remember, it's not going to happen overnight. So if you guys made it to the end, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to respond. And shout out to all my new subscribers. I'm very grateful that you joined the family, and I look forward to providing you with more content. If you have any video ideas or questions, make sure you leave them down below. I hope you have a blessed and prosperous day. Bye.